The story begins on a quiet morning out at sea. A few fishermen were out catching crabs, and around their boat, several dolphins were happily swimming and playing. But suddenly, one young dolphin drifted too close to a crab trap and got tangled in it. Cut to an 11-year-old boy named Sawyer Nelson, a kid who often kept to himself. He didn't really have friends. The only person he spent time with was his older cousin, Kyle, but even he was leaving the next day to join the army. Kyle had thrown a small farewell party, but Sawyer didn't feel like going. Instead, he stayed in the garage, fixing his little helicopter. Kyle walked in and said, "Summer's starting, man. You can't spend all of it alone. You gotta get out, make some friends." Sawyer quietly replied, "I don't need any." Kyle tried to comfort him. "Hey, I'm not disappearing like your dad. I'm just joining the army for a while." Sawyer looked up and said, "I thought you were gonna try out for the Olympics," because Kyle was an amazing competitive swimmer. Kyle sighed and said, "I wanted to, but training costs money. With the army, I can finally save up." He handed Sawyer a small gift. Sawyer opened it. It was a multi-tool, and his eyes lit up. With this tool, he could fix almost anything. Kyle tried one last time. "You sure you don't want to come to the party?" But Sawyer quietly shook his head. The next morning, Sawyer woke up to find that Kyle had already left for the army. He felt this heavy emptiness inside. Still, he grabbed his bike and headed to summer school. Meanwhile, near the shore, a man fishing spotted something strange. A dolphin washed up near the beach. He rushed closer and realized she was tangled badly in a crab trap. Her tail injured, ropes wrapped tightly around her. He saw Sawyer biking nearby and yelled for help. "Kid, you got a phone?" He quickly used Sawyer's phone to call Clearwater Marine Hospital. But just then, his fishing rod got pulled into the water, and he ran to save it, leaving Sawyer alone with the dolphin. Sawyer slowly approached her. She was scared, shaking in pain. He gently touched her, trying to calm her down. Then he took out the multi-tool Kyle had given him and carefully cut the trap open. He removed the ropes, freeing her bit by bit. The dolphin looked at him with soft eyes and let out a little chirping sound, as if she was thanking him. Just then, the rescue team from Clearwater Marine arrived. Among them was a young girl named Hazel, the daughter of Dr. Clay Haskett. They quickly cleared the sand, lifted the dolphin, and placed her in their truck. Hazel smiled at Sawyer and said, "Thank you. You really helped her." Sawyer rushed to school, but he was late. His teacher scolded him again, saying he wasn't focused, wasn't doing his work. After school, still thinking about the dolphin, Sawyer rode his bike straight to Clearwater Marine Hospital. The front doors were locked, so he sneaked in through the back. Inside, huge tanks and rescue animals filled the place, but it was quiet, too quiet. Suddenly, a big white pelican appeared and startled him. He turned to run and bumped into Hazel. The box she was carrying fell, spilling fish everywhere. The pelican immediately started eating them. Hazel yelled, "Rufus, stop," but he ignored her. Sawyer helped her pick up the fish, and Hazel said, "I named him Rufus. He basically lives on our roof." Sawyer turned to leave, but Hazel stopped him. "I know you came to see the dolphin." Sawyer hesitated, then nodded. Hazel whispered, "I'll take you to her, but my dad can't know. He doesn't let anyone near sick animals." Sawyer pointed at the bucket and asked, "Is that food for her?" Hazel shook her head. "She can't eat yet. She's really hurt. I named her Winter. Before her, we had two dolphins, Summer and Autumn. We released them once they fully recovered." She smiled. "I think naming them after seasons brings them luck." Hazel led him to the pool area. Two other dolphins, Cresta and Panama, swam nearby. Hazel whispered, "Dolphins are way smarter than we think." Sawyer waved a little high, and the dolphins playfully chirped back. For the first time in a long time, Sawyer smiled. Hazel takes Sawyer up to the rooftop, the place where they keep the animals that are too sick to stay in water. They hide behind some equipment so no one would see them. Hazel whispers, "Since we brought Winter here, she hasn't moved at all. She won't even open her eyes." But suddenly, clank, Hazel accidentally knocks over a few tools. A marine specialist named Phoebe hears the noise. "Hazel, who is this kid? You know your dad doesn't want outsiders in this area." Hazel quickly says, "He's the one who freed the ropes off Winter. He just wanted to know how she's doing." Phoebe sighs and tells them she's not doing well at all. There's no circulation in her tail. The tissue is dying. Just then, Winter reacts. She hears Sawyer's voice and opens her eyes for the first time, making a soft chirping sound. Dr. Clay starts walking toward the rooftop, so Hazel quickly pulls Sawyer away. That night at home, Sawyer rushes to the workshop and starts researching everything he can about dolphins, their tails, their swimming patterns, their survival. The next day, he races to Clearwater again, sneaks past everyone, and reaches the rooftop. Clay is talking to his team, explaining how far the infection has spread. Winter's tail is badly damaged. Dead tissue has spread through most of it. She's starting to lose the will to fight. While Sawyer listens quietly, Rufus, the crazy pelican, begins bothering him. Sawyer tries to shoo him away, but ends up making more noise. Clay spots him immediately. "Hey, you! Who are you? How did you get in here?" Hazel steps forward. "He's the boy who found Winter, Dad." Clay sighs. "You know the rules. This part of the hospital is off limits." Before Clay can say more, Winter's awake, and she's making that bird sound again. Hazel whispers, "She does that for Sawyer." Clay watches Winter respond to Sawyer, and something clicks in his mind. Maybe this boy is the hope she needs. He brings Sawyer to the tank. Sawyer gently touches Winter, and Winter relaxes. For the first time, she looks calm. Hazel turns to her dad. She really likes him. We should let him visit. Clay finally agrees. From that day on, Sawyer wakes up early, skips school, and goes straight to the Marine Hospital. But that morning, the hospital is quiet. Too quiet. He walks upstairs and finds Hazel crying. What happened? Sawyer asks. Hazel wipes her tears. Winter, her tail got too infected. They had to remove it. Sawyer is shocked, but that's how she swims. How is she supposed to live without a tail? Clay arrives and gently explains to Hazel. We had no choice. Her infection was spreading fast. We don't know if she'll make it. Hazel tries to stay strong and takes Sawyer to her grandpa's boat to clear her head. They sit together, eating frozen lemonade, watching the water. Hazel asks softly, "What does your dad do?" Sawyer lowers his eyes. "I don't know. He just disappeared 5 years ago. No one's heard from him since." Hazel's voice breaks. "My mom passed away when I was 7. They sit together on the deck. Two kids trying to understand loss. The next day when Sawyer returns, Clay is trying to give Winter her recovery formula, but she refuses. As soon as Sawyer touches her, she wakes up and chirps happily. Clay realizes Winter only feels safe around Sawyer, so Hazel and Sawyer begin caring for her together. Meanwhile, at a board meeting, Clay faces terrible news. Gloria and the board say, "We're drowning in debt. We lost our biggest grants. We can't afford to run this place anymore." Their only option, sell Clearwater Marine Hospital to billionaire developer Philip Horton, who wants to build luxury resorts on the land. Clay hates the idea. These animals are family to him. Back at the tank, Winter still refuses the formula. Sawyer picks up the cup and talks to her gently. "I know you don't feel good, but you have to eat. You'll never get better if you don't." Winter still turns away, so Sawyer pretends to drink it himself. Delicious, he jokes. Winter lets out a tiny chirp and slowly drinks the formula. Hazel cheers. She drank it. She actually drank it. Everyone around the tank smiles. For the first time in days, Winter showed a little hope. When Sawyer finally gets home, his mom, Lorraine, is furious. He hadn't gone to school for 7 days straight, and he smelled like dead fish. She sends him straight to the shower. Sawyer blurts out, "I'm not going to school tomorrow either. Winter needs me." Lorraine decides to see for herself what's going on. The next morning, she goes with Sawyer to the Marine Hospital. Sawyer excitedly gives her a full tour, every tank, every rescued animal, every detail he had learned. Lorraine watches him, her quiet, awkward son suddenly alive, confident, excited. For the first time, she sees him inspired. When Sawyer introduces her to Winter, he finally admits, "I don't want to go back to summer school. I'll take extra classes next year, but I want to stay here. I'm learning things school never taught me." Lorraine hesitates, but she can't deny the change in her son. She nods softly. Okay. The next day, Sawyer walks outside and finds a surprise. His mom has bought him brand new swimming gear. He beams with excitement. Soon he and Hazel are back in the water, helping Winter recover. But suddenly, Winter begins thrashing, trying to pull away from them. They panic, tightening their hold until they realize something incredible. Winter is swimming, without a tail. She's moving side to side like a snake, dragging herself through the water. Everyone is stunned. She's trying. She refuses to give up. From that day on, Sawyer brings toys, balls, rings, anything Winter might enjoy. He, Hazel, and Winter become inseparable, 3 best friends. Sawyer helps the staff whenever he can. He's happier than he's ever been. But then, everything changes. When he comes home, he sees his mom and his aunt crying. Sawyer instantly knows something happened to Kyle. Lorraine explains, "There was an explosion during a mission. Kyle was injured. He's alive, but he's hurt." Sawyer's aunt adds, "He's coming home today." But Kyle doesn't come home. His injury was worse than they expected. The blast damaged his spine, and he can't walk anymore. Instead of returning to his family, he went straight to the VA hospital. Sawyer is confused and hurt. "We're his family. Why won't he come home? I wanted to show him something." Clay sees Sawyer heartbroken and lets him stay at the hospital overnight. That night, Clay sits with him. Sawyer quietly asks, "Do dolphins remember things? Like the ocean? Their families?" Clay smiles gently. No one knows for sure, but dolphins are smart. Smarter than most people think. Hazel begs, "Dad, tell him the Shumas tribe story." Clay chuckles and begins. "Long ago, the goddess Hutash built a rainbow bridge so people on the island could reach the mainland. But some children slipped and fell into the sea. Hutash saved them, and because she loved their laughter so much, she turned them into dolphins, so they could play forever." He hands Sawyer a small dolphin necklace he carved himself. Sawyer holds it like treasure. Winter, noticing Sawyer, sprays him with water, inviting him to play. Sawyer laughs, offering her a toy, but she knocks it right into the water. Soon they're splashing, swimming, just having fun. The next morning, Sawyer teaches Hazel how to fly his toy helicopter. She immediately crashes it, completely destroying it. Phoebe runs in, out of breath. Winter's in trouble. Clay shows them an X-ray. Without her tail, Winter has been swimming side to side, and the motion is twisting her spine. Dolphins are built to move their tails up and down. Clay explains, "If she keeps swimming like this, her spine won't survive." Sawyer whispers, "So what happens to her?" Clay answers softly, "Her spine controls her heartbeat. heartbeat, her breathing, everything. She doesn't have much time if this continues. Sawyer's heart sinks. McCarthy is preparing Kyle for a back brace fitting. Kyle barely looks at Sawyer. Since the injury, he doesn't want to see anyone. Dr. McCarthy gently reminds him, "You need to talk to people. It's part of healing." He leaves them alone, and Sawyer walks Kyle outside. Kyle finally admits, "My back's messed up. My left leg is starting to work, but my right leg won't move at all." Sawyer looks at Kyle and quietly asks, "Will you ever walk again? With a brace? Maybe. But swimming? No. That part of my life is gone." His voice cracks and he wheels himself away, devastated. Sawyer watches him, heartbroken, and then he notices Dr. McCarthy across the hallway. A thought hits him. This man builds prosthetic legs for injured soldiers. What if he could help Winter too? Sawyer runs to him. "Dr. McCarthy, could you come with me? There's someone you need to meet." He brings him straight to Clearwater Marine Aquarium. Dr. McCarthy examines Winter carefully. Her skin is unbelievably soft, almost like wet silk. He frowns. "This is the problem. Even if we build a prosthetic tail, what do we attach it to?" He steps back, shaking his head. No one in their right mind has ever tried putting an artificial tail on a dolphin, which means no one with a good brain would do this. He grins. "Lucky for you, I don't always use mine, so I'll give it a shot." Everyone lights up with hope. McCarthy warns them, "My vacation is coming up. I can't promise a miracle, but I'll try everything I can." Winter sprays him with water, her own way of saying thank you. From that day on, McCarthy dives deep into research, diagrams, models, measurements, hours of test designs. Finally, after days of hard work, he builds a prototype, a model of how Winter's prosthetic tail should attach. But Clearwater has no money. The storm of debt was already drowning them. So McCarthy calls in a favor. He reaches out to a supplier from Hanger Prosthetics and Orthotics and convinces them to make custom parts for free. Later that night, while driving home, McCarthy sees Kyle struggling outside. Kyle is furious. He just found out that his old teammate Donovan has broken his swimming record. "That was supposed to be me," Kyle whispers. "I was supposed to go to the Olympics. Now I'm nothing." McCarthy picks up a glass, drops it hard, shattering it. "That's what broken looks like," he says. You're just hurt. And hurt things heal. Dreams change. You need to go home." His words hit Kyle deeply. The next day at the aquarium, McCarthy shows everyone his homemade model. "This will have to do until the real parts arrive." They gently attach it to Winter, but Winter rejects it instantly, slamming into the tank wall and breaking it apart. Everyone falls silent. McCarthy feels defeated. The first test failed. That evening, Clay sits in his office watching the weather report. A massive storm is headed straight for Clearwater. The wind picks up fast. Rain pounds the roof. Clay rushes outside to move equipment in. Sawyer runs to help, but Lorraine grabs him. "It's not safe. You're coming home." Kyle also returns home as the storm rips through the town. Thunder, flooding, winds tearing everything apart. Sawyer is terrified. Lorraine holds him close. "This storm is bad, but we're safe inside." By morning, the sky's clear, but Clearwater Marine Hospital is destroyed. Tanks are shattered, debris everywhere. Their rescue van is totaled. Clay is crushed. They were already drowning in debt. Now everything is gone. Kyle arrives, and Sawyer's face lights up. "You came." Kyle smiles. "I figured you might need my help." The staff welcomes him, and Sawyer proudly introduces Kyle to everyone. They bring him to Winter's tank. Kyle sees her missing tail, and something inside him softens. He understands her pain. They're both injured, both fighting. A meeting is called. The numbers are brutal. $500,000 in storm damage. No way to pay for it. Gloria speaks for the board. "We have no choice. We need to relocate all the animals to other aquariums and good homes. Then, we'll sell the property." Clay sits silently, devastated. Gloria adds, "We found homes for every animal." Clay whispers, "And Winter?" Gloria lowers her voice. "No facility wants a disabled dolphin. Winter can't survive on her own. The humane thing would be euthanasia." Clay feels like the room collapses around him. He later tells Hazel and Sawyer. Both kids break down. Hazel cries, "There has to be another way. We can't let them take her. We can't let them end her life." Sawyer's eyes fill with determination. "We'll find a way. We have to." Clay tells Sawyer the heartbreaking truth. There's no money left. None. Sawyer walks out, crushed. But right then, a car pulls up outside the aquarium. A mother steps out with her wheelchair-bound daughter. They had driven all the way from Atlanta because the little girl heard about Winter, a dolphin who survived even after losing her tail, something no other dolphin had ever done. The girl runs her hand along Winter's tank and whispers, "She's just like me." Sawyer's eyes widen, a spark of hope. He rushes to Dr. Clay. "What if we host a Save Winter Day, a fundraiser, a carnival, a website with a 24-hour live cam? People will see Winter's story, and they'll want to help." Clay sighed. "Nice idea, Sawyer, but that's not how the world works." Sawyer's shoulders dropped. But later that night, Clay's father sits beside him. Maybe Winter won't make it, but you owe it to her to try everything. Clay fell silent. The truth hit him deep. That evening, he showed up at Sawyer's house and said, "All right, kid, let's make it happen." Sawyer's eyes lit up with joy. And with that, Clearwater Marine Aquarium comes alive. Hazel, Sawyer, the staff, everyone works day and night. They build the website, install cameras around Winter's pool, set up donation pages, and start planning the carnival. News reporter Sandra broadcasts the story nationwide. People all across the country learn about the little dolphin who won't give up. Even Philip Hordern, the billionaire who wants to buy the property, sees it. Meanwhile, Dr. McCarthy finally arrives with the real prosthetic tail. Everyone gathers around as he attaches it to Winter, but Winter panics, thrashes, and smashes the tail into pieces. Everyone's heart sinks. Another failure. Later, Sawyer sits alone with Winter. He talks to her quietly, studying the way her skin feels. Soft, silky, almost slippery. Then it hits him. The sock is the problem. It's rubbing against her skin. He rushes to Dr. Clay and explains, "We don't need a different tail. We need a smoother sock. The attachment is hurting her." The carnival begins the next day. Huge crowds, food stalls, games, music. Thousands of people come to support Winter, and right in the middle of all the chaos, McCarthy arrives with a brand new invention. "I tried dozens of materials, and I finally made this, a soft gel-like sock. I call it Winter's Gel." They apply the gel sleeve gently around Winter's tail base, attach the prosthetic. Winter stiffens, and then she swims. Smooth, graceful, powerful. The team cheers. Winter finally has her tail back. Everyone rushes to the carnival with the good news. A special event begins. A swimming race between Kyle and his old rival, Donovan. The crowd goes wild, everyone cheering for Kyle, the soldier who refused to quit. Kyle wheels up to the microphone and says, "I'm not the reason you're here today. The real hero is my cousin, Sawyer." Sawyer steps up nervously. He looks at the crowd and says softly, "Winter isn't just a dolphin. She's family, and family is forever." The audience breaks into applause. The race begins, and Kyle swims with everything he has. Halfway through, he feels pain and stops, but no one cares, because at that moment, Winter is released into the pool, and she rockets forward, fast, strong, confident. She overtakes Donovan easily. Kids scream, families cheer. Kyle smiles proudly. Even billionaire Philip Hordern is watching with his grandkids. Tears fill his eyes. "You're doing something incredible here," he says. "I bought this property, but I won't build a resort. Keep this place, run it your way, and I'll cover your operating costs." Clay can't believe it. The crowd erupts in joy. Sawyer jumps into the water, splashing and playing with Winter, the dolphin who inspired the world. And just like that, Winter's story becomes a symbol of hope. Share this with anyone who needs that reminder today. And if you want more uplifting true stories, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.